going to look at the vocabulary you need to score over a 7 in the writing. And this video is divided into 3 parts. We're going to look at the definitions, academic vocabulary, TSV vocabulary, or TSV. We're going to look at how to find it. Then in the final part, I'm going to give you a formula for how to use these types of vocabulary, how to apply them into your essay so you can boost your score. Let's jump straight into it. So, as you probably know, in English, and probably in other languages, that a lot of words can have 2 meanings. For example, what animal is the best at baseball? A bat. Okay, if you smiled, you have to like the video. Let's jump into it. So the definitions. We've got academic vocabulary and TSV. I'll tell you what TSV is in a second. Academic vocabulary basically means the more sophisticated type, and it's usually more accurate as well. So for example, we could say good. Instead of good, we could say positive. Instead of bad, we could say detrimental. We could say negative consequences. We could say considerable downside. So it's usually more accurate. It's usually a longer word with more syllables in. And yeah, just be aware that if you are using words like good, bad, these are quite basic vocabulary. And this kind of vocabulary, we're more likely to find it in spoken English, whereas the academic vocabulary, we're more likely to find it in reports, government reports and things like that, which I'll go into in more detail in a second. The next vocabulary is TSV. This is topic-specific vocabulary. I'll give you an example. So we could say, imagine the topic is crime. Now, vocabulary that is specific to that topic would, i.e. crime, would be jail, punishment, sentence, as in he got a 3-year sentence for committing, another word, crime. We could talk about the legal system. We could talk about the judge, the jury, all these types of words which we are more likely to find in this topic than in other topics. That's why they're topic-specific vocabulary. And this kind of vocabulary we need to put into our essays if we're serious about scoring a band 7 or more. Now, how do we get this vocabulary? Fantastic question, Ben. Now, to get your academic vocabulary is quite a straightforward technique, which I'll share with you. Now, what you do, for example, staying with our example of crime, we want to find crime vocabulary. What we can do is go to Google and then just put crime UK government report PDF. Okay? And then we can find actual reports written by the government. So it's going to be like official language. We could even put crime Cambridge University report or employment Cambridge University report PDF. And then we find these PDF and we go through and we look for words that we don't understand and we look for sophisticated words. And we also don't just copy down the list, get it in context, and then maybe try and write a few sentences also using that word to help you incorporate it into your own lexical resource. Next one, a very, very useful source are the TED Talks. So go to TED.com, find a topic, maybe climate change, maybe crime, maybe speaking, not an arts topic, the environment or technology. And the advantage of doing this is like the other one, is that we can find the words in context. And this is really important because if we just go and download the academic word list, okay, we're going to find a lot of words that are commonly found in our essays, are commonly found in academic literature, but having a whole list is completely useless because you don't know how to use the words that you've found in this list. You don't know when it's correct to use them, how we can use them, the context in which we can use them. So this is why finding the vocabulary in the context, in the correct context, is fundamental to using it correctly. So this is why I gave you two sources where you're actually going to find the vocabulary you need in its natural environment, i.e. in its own context. So we go to the TED Talks, we listen, and we try and highlight and pay attention to specific vocabulary used with that topic. Make a list, write the whole sentence out in which that term or that word was used, and then try and incorporate it into the next essay you write. Now then, how to use it. This is part 3 of the video. We're going to go into the formula that you can use to apply this new vocabulary into your essays and boost your score, improve your IELTS score from 6.5 to 7 to 8 to 9, whichever. Now then, imagine we have found sort of like the synonyms of good or synonyms of bad. I'll give you an example. For bad, we could have considerable disadvantages, considerable downside. For good, we could have considerable advantages, considerable upside. And what we're going to do is just look through our essay, find the basic words, and then switch them. And we might even have to reorganize the whole sentence, but this is good practice. We're going to reorganize the sentence so it follows a similar pattern to the pattern we identified when we took that word, okay? And then we're going to upgrade our essay. We're going to upgrade our sentences to make them sound more academic. And likewise, we're going to do the same with the topic-specific vocabulary. And a good tip here is for example, if you're talking about technology and you say, technology has brought society lots of good things. So instead of things, we can use lots of valuable devices and then give an example, such as the cell phone, I can't say pages, show my age, such as the cell phone, digital microscopes, and of course drones, something like this. But that kind of vocabulary we're only going to find if we are writing about technology. So it's vastly better, vastly superior. I'm improving my own vocabulary from better to superior, vastly superior. Anyway, it's vastly superior using words like drone, cell phone, digital microscope than things, okay? So that's just one example. And of course, we will have found these terms in the correct context, so we can be more confident when we're using them. Now, the best way to improve with this is to, one, as I said, you do your research, okay? You look for opportunities in your essay, you look for opportunities, you look for the new vocabulary. Then you make your lists and your sentences, you write your normal essay, you go through it and you look for opportunities to upgrade, to improve the essay. And now the final step, perhaps the most important, is you get feedback. You look for ways, don't look for ways. You get feedback. You get your essay evaluated and you find somebody who can say, this is used correctly. This is a disaster. Burn your paper. No, don't find somebody who says this, but find somebody who's going to say, this is excellent, this is terrible, this is good, this could be improved, because unless you get that feedback, you do not know where you are. You do not know if you're making mistakes. You don't know if you're improving your essays. And this kind of frustration can really negatively affect your performance when you're preparing for the exam. I find personally, when I know exactly what I want to do and how to do it, I can go faster. If I'm clueless, if I'm questioning myself, if I'm doubting my writing, then it's much difficult to move forward. And also, I'm much more likely just to drop it, leave it, and come back in a few days, and I would have lost 3 days, 4 days of vital preparation time or learning time, depending on the task I'd be doing. So this is why it's very important to get some feedback, because it's going to maintain your motivation, maintain your interest, especially if you get positive feedback, which is one thing that we do try and encourage at IELTSpodcast.com essay correction service. So have a look at that, the essay correction service. You can find it at IELTSpodcast.com. I'd strongly recommend it, and also use what I just mentioned and then try and get feedback on your work. So good luck with your IELTS preparation. Remember that the fastest and most efficient way to improve is to get feedback. And remember the final thing, that you're not alone in this, and you will pass if you put in the work and the preparation. My name is Ben. Thank you very much for watching, and there'll be more videos coming soon. Have a great day.